It's not always about what I say, it's about what I don't say. Is the trickery of this energy. Good day, good evening, good afternoon, depending on where you are in the world. Welcome to Milk Honey Rose. I am Mystic Alchemy. Thank you for being here. So, in life, you've come across much trickery, very much so, from many different individuals. And you might still be working through recognizing when people come at you in such a way. And it doesn't happen all the time, and it's not going to be everyone that you encounter. However, it's like this message is coming through because it's important to you for protection, for protective purposes, okay? Now, the message came through in a way where the statement is, it's not always what they say, it's what they don't say. So this is why it's so tricky, because it's very elusive. It's very deceiving, okay? And it's easy for one to miss if they're not reflecting on the situation as well as how they feel inside. Because remember, we do have spiritual gifts that will remind us about our own energy and when there's an attempt to manipulate it. Okay? So now for this person, they say a lot and they talk a good game. They say a lot and they talk a good game. When I said good, it didn't come out right the first time, so I just repeated it. Okay? And they are a wordsmith. So, they make words sound real sweet. Okay? They've captured the honey pot factor, and they don't use the honey for the good of others. It's more so for themselves. However, they know how to how can I say? They know how to present the honey in a way where it would appear, check it, I did say appear, to be good for others, but it's really more so good for them. It's very selfish, very self-gratifying. Self-gratification is what is most important to this person, okay? They're not selfless, they're full of themselves. I just heard they're full of malarkey, okay? I don't know who says that in what part of the world, and I don't say that. So I don't know, maybe you know what that means, but it is a replacement for you know what, okay? Sugar, honey, ice, and tea, not so sweet, get it? Okay. So this person is full of it. They just bounce around and body hop and idea hop from where they get ideas from, and they thief them, and then they try to manipulate them to make it seem like it's their own. And it's really sad because it's just showing that this person, they're probably leaking out all of their goodness from promiscuity or just lack of attention. So they're not really pulling from their own reserve. They're actually just thieving from people that they see as successful, and this is how they this is how they get their wealth, from basically stealing from people. And not everybody recognizes it because of how they present it. I can't say that they lack intelligence completely, but these types of individuals have so much more to give, but they don't take enough time with themselves to find it. So they'll end up living out a bunch of others. Okay, how can I say? They'll end up living out destinies of other people that they mimic. However, there will always be something missing that is supposed to be their own. Okay, so they actually are like masterful at stealing from other individuals and making it look new. So it will be perceived as if it is from them. However, it is not. They'll just box it up differently so it looks different. The delivery might even be different. However, it is not from them, it's from others. And it's various people, not just one. However, sometimes there is one particular individual that they find very abundant in spirit, and they will utilize whatever they steal from them energetically, and they profit from it. And yeah, they don't care either. Like, they don't care, but they don't realize what they're doing to their soul, though. That's the sad part about it. So yes, it's not always what they say, but it's what they don't say. So this perspective can also be utilized in other types of relationships. It doesn't have to just be one relationship. It just depends on who is posing as one person, but they're really another. So they put a mask on in front of many. However, behind closed doors, there's not the same person. They're not in alignment. So Spirit just wants you to know that there are individuals like this, and many of you have met them before, or met a few individuals who you do see are different from what you perceived them to be in the beginning. And it's either you appreciate them more or less. So it depends on the type of person, because sometimes people don't give too much too fast. So that's just a protection mechanism that some use. And those can also be individuals that they may not say everything, but it's not that they don't mean well. Okay? Some people are not quick to say everything, but it's just for their own protection. And then some, they leave things out on purpose so that they can deceive and manipulate and control. Okay? So Spirit just wants you to be mindful of this type of energy so that you could protect yourself from it. Because if you're not paying attention, this type of energy can really affect you emotionally. And this energy works for the enemy when they make sure that they don't say certain things to deceive. It is all in the intention. The intentions are to deceive. So again, they'll say one thing, but in the background they're doing another. Because if they said one thing and it's a good thing, what are the intentions? It is what makes it good or not so good. You see, that's the difference between the two. So if you have experienced this type of energy before and you are familiar, drop it down in the comments below. Even if you've overcome this type of energy, because many people, they get stuck under the bounds of this type of energy with chains and everything for years, because they don't even know what's happening, and they can become delusional dealing with this type of energy. So with that being said, drop it down in the comments below if you've dealt with this type of energy before and you've learned from this type of energy, as well as if you are going to take the proper steps to pay attention to a person's intention. Okay? And then even if you ask, what are your intentions? And then they tell you, you got to make sure that the actions match what they're saying, because a person who has ill intentions, they will eventually show themselves. You know, it's that they won't be able to restrain the truth for long. And either way, the truth will set you free. Okay, so that's it for this message. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you feel my vibe, especially if this message does resonate with you. If you would like to book a healthy conversation, you can by visiting www.milkhoneyrose.org. Also, you can join the membership here on YouTube for additional content. And I did just post 2 videos in the membership area yesterday evening. So you can check those out. I also posted a sneak peek video of what I would usually post in the membership area so that you can get an example of what is in the membership. Okay. Thank you for listening. I almost said thank you for kissing. That's not a thing though. But thank you for listening and sending my love to you. I'll see you in the next one.